check out this dash cam video of the Sebastian County Sheriff's officers captured on a swift water rescue. A Barling police officer dispatched after a car was taking on water at Spring Hill Park. The officer entered the swift moving river to help the person stay afloat until more help got there to pull them out of the water. Barling Fire Department and Sebastian County deputies helped with the rescue. Person had to be taken to a local hospital for treatment, but is expected to recover. That vehicle, by the way, still underwater. It'll be removed when conditions allow. Classes in Waldron canceled district-wide today after the middle and elementary schools sustained damage like this during last week's storms. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi spoke with district leaders about when students can expect to get back to the classroom and takes us inside now to show us more of that damage.
Crews today using these temporary vents to try and air out Waldron Middle School after it suffered some flooding and extensive hail damage Friday night into Saturday morning. And now the district is working to get students back into the classroom as quick as possible, as long as it is safe to do so.
It felt like a tornado had come through there and just tore it to pieces.
Here is the damage Waldron Assistant Superintendent Chris Lippum saw Saturday morning.
But we had some roof problems at the elementary school, and so our superintendent got called up there and said there was some major leaking. And I said, well, I'm going to go by and check the middle school. When I walked in there, I was pretty surprised to what I was walking into, with the ceiling tiles hanging and insulation everywhere, water.
Large hail punched holes in the roof, causing water to leak in. Classes for the entire district were canceled Monday. The district says due to moisture damage, the elementary school will be closed for the rest of the week, while middle school students will continue classes at the high school and local churches.
Debriefing every day with the companies, and they're letting us know the timeline, because it's an inconvenience. We have parents at work and their kids need to be in school. And so today was just a planning day, hopefully to get it worked out.
Lippum says the district had one more built-in weather day to cover for missed classes on Monday, but adds every additional day will need to be added on at the end of the year. Despite all the damage, the district says there were no injuries.
We are a resilient school. We had so many community people show up really fast when they saw we had a need. A lot of staff and spouses and coaches and our custodians and maintenance staff were here, and we didn't know what to do other than go to work.
The district says that they will continue to notify parents, students, and staff of any changes through their Facebook page. In Waldron, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Amber Waterman back in Benton County Court today. She appeared by video this morning as prosecutors seek a second capital murder trial nearly 6 months after she was convicted in federal court in the kidnapping and death of a Benton County woman and her unborn baby. 5 News reporter Kayla Davis was at the hearing this morning, joining us now with the latest details from the courtroom there in Bentonville.
Amber Waterman had an omnibus hearing this morning, but that was quickly rescheduled when her defense attorney argued it would be smarter to wait till after the state Supreme Court made a decision on double jeopardy in this case. On Monday morning, Amber Waterman appeared in Benton County Court on Zoom while being held at the Benton County Jail. Waterman has been held at the county jail since her first arraignment last October. Before then, she was held in Missouri Federal Prison serving 2 consecutive life sentences. Prosecutor Josh Robinson says today's omnibus hearing was to continue the process of seeking the death penalty in Benton County.
Sometimes for certain crimes, we should be able to ask for the worst punishment that we have, whatever that is. And when we've got a family that's asking us to do that, if we don't have a legal reason not to, then it's hard to justify not doing that.
But the hearing date got pushed to July 7th after it was argued that they shouldn't have hearings until the Arkansas Supreme Court makes a decision on double jeopardy.
The Supreme Court is going to hear oral arguments on that appeal on April the 24th. And so we don't know here if we're going to be able to move forward or not. We can't do anything else, handle anything else with the case until we get that decision.
Waterman's case has been open for the last 3 years, so Robinson is looking to speed up the process soon after their decision.
You know, as quickly as possible, because this case has been around for too long, and I know the family would like to, you know, to see it through and have that closure and that endpoint in mind.
The Arkansas State Supreme Court is set to hear arguments on April 24th in Magnolia. In Benton County, covering news where you live, Kayla Davis, 5 News.
All right, Kayla, thanks. Also developing today, a 17-year-old suspect in a deadly shooting will be tried as an adult in Benton County. Alejandro Zenon Reyes is charged with manslaughter for the death of Alexis Nguyen in April of 2022. Nguyen was 17 when she was shot to death. Investigators say Reyes fled to Mexico right after the shooting and was arrested there this year, then brought back to Benton County. He's being held tonight in the county jail, and his next court date, by the way, set for May 19th. Another vote and another no to setting aside funding for a new prison in Franklin County. Today, 19 Arkansas state senators voted for it, 10 voted against it, 6 voting present. Because it's an appropriations bill, it needs support of 3/4 of both the Senate and House before it can go to the governor's desk. The vote comes after several failed attempts in the Senate last week. The plan would authorize $750 million in spending for costs associated with building that 3,000 inmate prison near Charleston. The future of Arkansas libraries uncertain right now as a Senate bill with far-reaching effects heads to the House. 5 News reporter Rachel Williams joins us now to tell us why some are concerned it could lead to fewer library programs and services. Rachel.
Well, Darren, this legislation already passed in the Senate, and this bill has actions such as potentially eliminating the Arkansas State Library Board, shifting library oversight to locally elected officials. But it's more than that. I talked to library directors from both Fayetteville and Farmington, and they both say funding and programs would be affected. Whether a public library is as big as Fayetteville's or as small as Farmington's, library leaders believe this will hurt the public library system. If this bill passes, libraries would have to make strategic cuts to programs and resources for communities. For example, continuing education programs that need funding to pay for professionals who educate the community on certain topics.
As far as a direct repercussion of that is the worry that we would lose our resource of the state library. I know myself, I've attended several trainings that have been put on by the state library, and without the state library, that training would not have happened.
And within the last hour, one bill sponsor did get back with me, and he said, quote, he will hold off on comments until after the House votes. I'll be keeping in touch because this bill is scheduled to vote in the House on Wednesday. Rachel Williams, 5 News.
All right, Rachel, thanks. A plan to change regulations on farmers around the Buffalo National River set to go before a committee in the House. The bill is on the agenda tonight for the Agriculture, Forestry, and Economic Development Committee. That's going on right now. It's already cleared the Senate and sparked intense debate. Supporters argue it will help support farmers living near the river, but opponents fear it could harm the water quality of America's first national river.